Hi, good evening. You are live with me, Rajashri Gupta, on Sports Today. Well, this has been an incredible day of Test cricket for India. Of course, if you're an India fan, you would have thoroughly enjoyed day three of the second Test between India and New Zealand at the Wankhede Stadium. India have been completely dominant despite a historic performance from Ejaz Patel. Here's how the Test match is poised after 3 days of invigorating cricket at the Wankhede Stadium. India, of course, were bowled out for 325 in their first innings. That there was some major drama in that chapter, wasn't there? Ejaz Patel becoming only the third man after Jim Laker and Anil Kumble to pick all 10 wickets in an innings in Test cricket. Of course, that innings was substantiated by Mayank Agarwal, scored 150. Brilliant knock from him there. That was a proper one-man waging a battle against Ejaz Patel and the rest of New Zealand. Of course, there were contributions from Shubman Gill for 44 and Axar Patel got 52. But the story started unfolding thereafter. India were bowled out for 325, Mayank Agarwal 150, Ejaz Patel 10 wicket haul, New Zealand blown away for 62, and then India came out all guns blazing. Of course, the Indian bowlers yesterday was supremely good. Mohammad Siraj, Ashwin picking up 4 wickets, Axar Patel getting a couple of wickets as well. Um, but thereafter, India's batsmen showed a lot of intent, showed a lot of aggression. In their second innings, India, of course, opened with Mayank Agarwal and Cheteshwar Pujara because Shubman Gill had injured his hand during the first innings for New Zealand. He came into bat at number 3, got some runs again. But again, Mayank Agarwal was the top scorer with 62. Pujara got some runs, 47. Shubman Gill again falling in the 40s for the second time in this Test match, getting 47. Virat Kohli 36 got a bit of a start, but he'd be disappointed. He was disappointed with the way he got out again. Not adding to too many to his 36 of 84 balls. Shreyas Iyer came out, banged a couple of sixes, and then some quick runs once again from Axar Patel, 41, unbeaten 41 of only 26 balls, started with 4 sixes. That set the tone then for India to declare and set New Zealand a target, a mammoth target of 540 on a pitch, which is turning, which is bouncing. It's got a lot in it for the spinners. It's got a lot in it for the pacers. And it's just been so exciting to watch. This is what you expect to watch in a Test match in India. But in all fairness, a lot of critics and skeptics from overseas have spoken up about pitches in India with vis-a-vis regard to the turn that they offer and generate. But this Mumbai pitch has been, for me, I feel it's been one of the best surfaces that you've seen cricket on, Test cricket on, in India in recent times. A lot of purchase for the spinners, pacers, as well as batsmen who were willing to spend time on the surface. They got runs. Example, Mayank Agarwal. Shubman Gill in both the innings, he did well. Axar Patel, lower down the order, came in and got some valuable runs as well. And again, of course, Ejaz Patel picking up 4 wickets in that in that second innings for India. So Ejaz Patel finished with 14 wickets and he may still go on to lose this Test match. Why? Because in New Zealand are precariously placed. They need 540, of course, to win this Test match and the series. They have gone to stumps at 140 for 5, which means they still need 400 runs. There are 2 days of cricket remaining. But look, the major chunk, the major stars of the New Zealand batting are already back in the pavilion. Kane Williamson not playing. Ross Taylor flopped in both the innings. Tom Latham and Will Young, who was so good in that first Test match in Kanpur, failing again. Daryl Mitchell, of course, got a quick 60 of 92 balls. But now it's all down to Henry Nicholls and Rachin Ravindra. Rachin Ravindra and Ejaz Patel, remember, batted out 91 deliveries together in Kanpur in fading light. Saved that game for New Zealand. But this is beginning to look like such a tall task. 2 whole days of cricket left, 180 overs to come, 400 runs to get. But the runs are beginning to get really immaterial here. It's the 5 wickets that India need. And India have done very well to nip out those 5 wickets. Of course, the first to go was Tom Latham, the captain. Ashwin finishing day 3 with 3 wickets again. He's also had such an incredibly good series, hasn't he? Axar Patel was a little expensive in his first 5 overs, giving away 25, 30 runs. But then he also got into the act with a wicket there towards the end to put New Zealand in a spot of bother. So that's how it's looking like. New Zealand are 140 for 5. they really have their backs against the wall. Unfortunate for New Zealand towards the end, they literally gifted those two wickets. Daryl Mitchell was looking so strong. He threw his wicket away towards the fag end of the day. He holed out to deep cover. You wouldn't want him. You wouldn't want your set batsman to play a shot like that towards the end. And of course, Tom Blundell, the wicketkeeper, was run out in a horrible mix-up. That was just a couple of horror moments for the Black Caps towards the end as they slipped to 140 for five. A lot of things to take away from this test match so far. Of course, we'll summarize the series for you. Hopefully for India, when the game gets over tomorrow, if India to win, you can be rest assured that the game will be over tomorrow. There's not much to come for New Zealand after this, and this is a far trickier pitch to negotiate than Kanpur was. Light is not going to be a factor here. Of course, it rained a couple of nights back in Bombay. That is precisely why the first session on day one was lost to wet outfield. Play began at 12 o'clock. But really, India have kept up their charge and they have been aggressive. They have been relentless. The bowlers have been disciplined. The batters, whoever got in, ensured that they made the big runs. Mayank Agarwal, and that was the problem for a bit. But Mayank Agarwal, he got his eyes in, got 150 in the first inning, 62 in the second. He was hit on his finger by a Tim Saudi bouncer when Tim Saudi tried that leg side line against Pujara and Mayank Agarwal to stem the flow of runs. Pujara was ducking. He took a couple of blows on his arm, but Mayank Agarwal is a naturally more aggressive batsman. He wanted to hook one, pull one away, missed the line, and the ball came flash on his finger. The physio came out immediately. His finger went numb. He did not even take the field. He was kept away as a precautionary measure, and rightly so. As far as Mayank Agarwal is concerned, his stint with the batting is done with in the series. India would now want to wrap up this match quickly, with the ball still doing a lot, turning, bouncing, offering enough assistance to world-class spinners like Ashwin and Axar Patel. Of course, just the 5 overs for Umesh Yadav. Mohammad Siraj was brilliant in the first innings. Got a couple of balls to do. He got a couple of balls to talk, and he tested the New Zealand batsmen. But you suspect if there is a hint of reverse, these two, Siraj and Umesh Yadav, will be able to exploit that if the game goes on late in the afternoon tomorrow. So this is what it is looking like. India would need 5 more wickets to win. New Zealand, on paper, they're 400 runs away from their victory target. But there's not much batting to come. Yes, like I said, Rachin Ravindra was one of the heroes for New Zealand on debut in Kanpur, staving off the Indian attack alongside Ajaz Patel. But it is going to be a Herculean task from here on to get those runs, or to even bat out 2 days of this bowling lineup. Siraj, Ashwin, Axar Patel, Jayant Yadav, Umesh Yadav. How do you keep these guys at bay? Of course, Ravindra Jadeja not playing in this test match. He had an injury he sustained sometime before the second test match in Kanpur somewhere. But Jayant Yadav, he hasn't had to do much. The bulk of the damage has been done in both innings by R. Ashwin. Siraj took 3 wickets in the first innings as well. Axar Patel and Ashwin, you'd expect them to bowl a lot of overs tomorrow as well, till New Zealand are bowled out and this is cleaned up. 17 overs for R. Ashwin already, 10 overs for Axar Patel. Like I said, he was expensive and a little expensive in his first spell, but then he came back and bowled a much tighter line, probed and asked questions of New Zealand, and he was rewarded with a wicket. And then run out, New Zealand would think that was completely unnecessary at that point in time, and right towards when they should have been playing for stumps, and they would have been so much happier had they gone to stumps with only 3 wickets down. But now they have lost 5, and India will be out with their tails up tomorrow on Monday. Can they wrap it up sometime in the first session? We'll have to wait and watch, but this is going to be really, really interesting. Well, then, that's all that I have for you tonight. There's, of course, you can expect plenty of drama and action in the morning as India spinners try to charge towards New Zealand and close this game, take the series for India. It'll be a great way to wrap things up. India, of course, won the T20I series 3-0. Commendable performances by New Zealand as well in Kanpur to keep India at bay and to frustrate the Indians with that partnership, especially with that last wicket partnership where India was just shy of that 1 wicket and could not seal victory. But here in Mumbai, everything seems to be in order. The world seems to be fine with India charging towards victory in that fashion. That's it then. Please, before I go, please do subscribe to Sports Today. It's such a cold evening in Delhi, isn't it? This is when I'm sitting in Noida. It's cold, it's chilly, but it warms your heart to see uh, India play the way they did. Couple of questions. Prakash Kumar, why Rahane? Why was Rahane dropped? Well, officially, Rahane was injured. That's why he was not playing alongside Ishant Sharma, who was also injured, and Ravindra Jadeja. But you know, who knows what sort of a call that would have been had he not been injured, had he not sustained an injury. Would they still have gone ahead and dropped him? We'd never know. We'd never know. But there is now serious competition in the side with younger batsmen, hungrier batsmen, scoring runs. You got Shreyas Iyer who scored 100 and a half century in the first test. You have Mayank Agarwal now, who's been around the Indian team for a couple of years. He scored 150 and a 62 in this innings, in this test match. And of course, Shubman Gill, he's been there and there about half century in Kanpur, couple of 40s in this test match. So these guys will be under pressure. Rahane as well as Pujara, by the way, he's not scored a century in 3 years. And when your number three batsman does not score 100 in 3 years, those are definitely worrying signs. I've heard Pujara explain the situation. I've been hearing some former cricketers say that as well. He's been getting regular half centuries, Pujara, but what are those regular half centuries? Since the beginning of 2020, he's only got 6 half centuries. So he did play a couple of good knocks in England. He was pretty brave and gutsy in Australia, taking blows on his body, scoring a couple of crucial half centuries. But you'd expect a little more from your number three. And now, especially with a lot of these young cricketers coming through the ranks, looking so eager and dedicated, you'd expect some of the senior batters to be on their toes and feel the pressure and the heat as the time comes for the squad selection for the tour of South Africa. Well, then, that's all that I have for you tonight. Do subscribe to Sports Today. And like I said, it's a nice, cold evening in Noida. Warms your heart to see India's performance in Mumbai at the Wankhede Stadium so far. Now, it's just time. It's time to go for me on a Sunday evening it's time for some noodles and momo. And hopefully, I'll see you in the morning tomorrow once India have wrapped up victory as early as possible. Till then, have a very, very safe evening. Thank you, and stay tuned to Sports Today. Bye.